Hey, what's going on YouTube? So this is 3 weeks in a day post Lumbar Fusion. So I thought I'd check in with everybody and kind of give you updates on my progress, my story, just kind of where I'm at overall. And I think in this video I'll kind of discuss a lot of the positive changes and some things that are still a bit of a struggle, and just keep it very real, because I think that's important for people to hear if you're thinking about going through this process. I think hearing from someone, like myself, that's obviously going through it in real time right now, and really what to expect, right? And not, sugarcoat things or, maybe put on a front that's either better or worse, right, than what it actually is. And hopefully, my learnings can help some of you out there, navigate this process as well too. So, as always, please drop a comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell for future updates. I'm going to try and do more posting going forward. I do have like 3 months of recovery time here in Washington State, which is great. So it's really nice to have kind of a social program like that allows me enough time to recover and get back to doing my job once I'm physically ready to go. So all right, so I'll try and keep this definitely shorter than my very first video. So week 3, definitely better than week 2, and obviously significantly better than week 1. I think the positives I'll start off with first is that I've been in a routine. So now, my mornings, afternoons, evenings, I keep it as close to the same as I can. So, I wake up in the morning, I do kind of my anti-inflammatory breakfast, oats, and some, darker fruits, if I can, like blackberries, blueberries, things like that. And then I'll do a heating pad for a little bit to kind of loosen up the muscles in my lower back. And then I'll go for my first walk, usually around 9:30. And then, come back. I'll do a protein shake, as I think I discussed in the first video. Again, not looking for anything from Garden of Life, but I've been doing just kind of a Whole Foods based protein powder, and then like a Whole Foods based multivitamin, and then some bone growth, like, calcium supplement that I take daily as well too, with almond milk with extra protein and calcium in there as well too. Ripple is the one I think we've been buying, which has been really good. Works really well with the vanilla chai protein powder if you're looking for something tasty to drink. So, and I think that's been good, because you want to get a lot of extra protein as your muscles are healing. You definitely want to get a lot of calcium to help the bones kind of fuse more quickly, and around the screws that are put into your back. So these are very important things. Again, this isn't, I'm not advocating for Whole Foods based diets, but it is very important to eat healthy, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise, because yes, certain foods can cause inflammation and then can slow the process down quite a bit. So sugar is a big one. Anything processed sugar, anything that's sugar laden, soda, candy, you name it, any kind of heavily processed meats, red meats, things like that. Like I said in my previous video, I'm not gonna lie, we'll occasionally have like a pizza as kind of like a cheat meal or things like that. So I'm not like, trying to be holier than thou and say, oh yeah, but if you can do an 80-20-90-10 diet where it's basically mainly whole foods, my lunch is always a giant salad, with some, veggies, do a little dip with it as well too. Hummus is a great thing to do. Try and snack on things that are helping feed your recovery rather than work against it. And I know it can be tough when you're going through this to want some comfort food, but if you can do it for a week, I think you'll realize, like I did, that it's very easy to do every day going forward. So that's been kind of my meal plan. My walking again, I've been doing 3 outdoor walks a day. I know I did one video of me walking down my street. Basically, it's about a mile or half a mile. If I walk down, walk the other direction, and then walk to my driveway, that's about 0.51 miles exactly. So I've been doing that 3 times a day, and the last couple days I've actually stepped it up to where I'm now at about close to 0.7 miles. So I've been walking outdoors the last few days, almost 2 miles, which is, again, from week 1 where I was happy to struggle my way to the bathroom and back, or just really get out of bed, to comfortably having 3 longer walks a day has been wonderful. So again, like, a lot of positives this week has been much better. Incision pain is there, but it's not anything I still ever really think of. You know, if I rub on it, I can feel it, but I don't really feel it in bed. I don't feel it unless I like press on it, but the incisions are healing really nicely. You know, the bumps and puffiness around the 2 on the sides of the spine where they insert the screws are very minimal now, just at the ends where they probably did the initial cutting. So that's been really good. Again, just being in a routine, eating healthy, sleeping a little bit better now, getting on daily walks. This has all been great. So definitely loving the progress that I'm having. Now for the keeping it real part, things that have been still more of a challenge. I'm still having like sacrum pains. So like beneath where the L5 S1 fusion happened, I'm still experiencing some sacrum pains down there. And my doctor pretty much said it's still kind of muscular in nature. So that kind of movement and things like that have been a bit more of a challenge. Sorry, my mom was about to walk out in the middle of my video, so I had to like stop her for a second. So that is still like, I'll feel it at night before going into bed, turning, walking still. So I still have some concerns about that. If it's, you know, and I guess I'll see where I'm at in another week or 2. So I'm not trying to like think too much on that, because I can walk for a long distance now and not feel it. And what starts to happen is my back feels tired. And then it does get a little sore but a lot of that soreness now is kind of like more in my glutes when I'm walking, than in that sacrum area where your tailbone is, like, but I'll still get those pains sometimes. Like if I'm on my bed and my son gets a little rowdy and he'll come over and like push his hands on the bed really quickly to say something to me, like I'll be like, ooh, and I can like feel it, not again where the surgery was, but beneath it in the sacrum area. So that I'm going to definitely keep monitoring closely. It's the only thing really right now that's giving me any bit of concern, is just that pain there. But aside from that, again, things are looking good. Like I mean, occasionally when I'm walking, if I have an awkward step where, you know, kind of if I'm walking, my back kind of goes back like this, I'll feel a little bit of that in the area where the surgery is, but I think that's normal, because right now there's just those 2 rods there, and there's the spacer and the cage, and that's it. So, and it takes really about 3 months for that fusion process to really start to take place, and that's if you're doing everything right. So that's pretty much my daily routine, is just eating healthy, getting out on a few walks. Oh, and I forgot to mention too, I've been doing some stairs. I'm out in our outdoor covered deck area here, so if my voice sounds a little shaky, it is a little cooler today. Even though it's Washington, we have mild temps throughout the winter. You know, 40 degrees is still, you know, a little on the chill side. So, but I've been doing stairs, and I can go up and down 4 times now. I wouldn't say like comfortably, because my legs will still shake usually in that last 4th one on the way down, but the fact that I really couldn't do stairs the first week at all, I probably could have maybe done them a little bit on the 2nd week, but the fact that I'm doing them on the 3rd week has been a huge boost for my confidence, being able to go like up and down the stairs, and I can probably do more. So I probably won't attempt it this week, but I think week 4 I'll start driving and start attempting some smaller errands to run and things like that. So that's pretty much, kind of my thoughts on that. So again, just a quick recap. I think things are going well. I feel good about the surgery. And again, if you're thinking about this, again, I'm not a doctor, obviously. I don't have any advice, or I can't, anything I say is just my own personal experience. But again, if you're having pains or you're thinking about going through surgery, really the MRI was the one thing that made it abundantly clear to me that this needed to happen. I know there's some articles online about scary things that can happen, and yes, with any surgery there are potential things that can happen. But in my case, and some of the other people I've watched on YouTube and stories I've read, I mean, if there's not a disc there anymore, like in my case, it was thin and black and looked nothing like the white plump discs above it. We can't regrow discs with our current technology. There's really not much you can do. I have a pars defect, which means those little bones that kind of stick out on the sides, they kind of work as like a brake pad almost, or like a buttress, if you will. I'm missing those. So this is kind of what was going on, basically, is that bone was moving, right? So no amount of physical therapy or anything else I could have done could have changed that, and it would have continued to, again, like I think I said in my first video, almost like sandpaper wore away at that disc even more than it already had been. So for me, the decision was pretty much one-sided. It was either I'm going to do this or I'm going to get hooked on pain pills and other things and struggle through this for another 10 years until I'm bone on bone and had no choice. And I just wasn't willing to make that type of sacrifice, because yes, the surgery can be scary to think about, but again, if you can just get through the first few days, really that first week, it gets better. I don't think I've had the euphoric experience that some people have had, and again, I would probably caution against anybody watching videos of people doing things out in their yard or running week 3 or week 4. Yeah, it looks miraculous and it looks wonderful, but take it slow. I mean, walking is good. It's the best thing you can do. So if you're able to walk a lot like I've been doing, I think that's a really good sign, and I think that's something to be proud of, because you are starting over, especially someone like myself that has been so into athletics my whole life, to doing 10, 15-mile hikes up to the summits of mountains here in Washington, to now being happy about going up and down the stairs 4 times. I mean, you have to celebrate the small things and keep a positive outlook, because it can be suffocating sometimes, and it can be extremely redundant, a lot of things that we have to do in our position. I know for me, it's having the routine is nice, but having to kind of fight through that every day, like, okay, now it's time for the walk. I'm going to see the same homes and the same trees. I'm going to avoid the same potholes again. It can be a lot, but you just have to keep your eye on the prize, essentially, right on that brass ring, and know that each day, push yourself a little bit more and see what you're capable of doing. Continue to rest as often as you can. I've been doing a lot more reading, so anything to keep your mind active is a good thing, and just stay positive. So I did have some tips that I wanted to add again too. I think I mentioned them in the first video, but again, don't be too prideful to not use the walker. I still use the walker in the morning when I get out of bed, because my legs are super tired. I always wake up lying kind of prostrate on my back. I don't know how I get there. I'm not in like pain, but it takes me like a few minutes to like get those muscles like activated. It's a very weird feeling. And then once I stand up, my legs kind of still shake a little bit because I've lost so much muscle, that in the mornings, having that walker next to my bed to kind of like right myself, let me move my legs and get comfortable, is a huge thing. So don't be too prideful. I mean, I don't use the walker after that, but I'm not going to lie that I use it in the morning and it really helps. Same thing with a toilet seat riser. Not ashamed to admit that I have to use that. I mean, it really does help. I'm not confident enough yet to sit that far down on a toilet, so I've been using that. But I have been like testing myself and sitting on lower surfaces. Again, that's where I'll use the walker sometimes to help gauge can I get up from this comfortably? Am I going to feel some of that sacrum pain? So again, it's all right to have things that help. The little grabbers that you can use, the little extenders, that thing is, I probably use that, I don't know, 30 times in a day to reach and grab things, pick things up off the floor. You know, if I drop something, it's always like, oh, end of the world. But since I have that grabber, I can pick up most anything with it, as long as it's under that, 10-pound threshold that they have you on. So yeah, I'll probably do a couple smaller short videos this week, probably another one about walking. I do want to detail one too about kind of some do's and don'ts that I've experienced, that'll hopefully help some people out. But again, I really hope that some of you that watch these videos can glean anything from this that'll help you in your experience and your journey. Again, I know for me, watching some people on YouTube has really helped me. And again, if I can pass this forward to the next generation of fused individuals, really looking, really hoping that can help. So I think we'll leave it there today, but thanks for checking in, YouTube. Again, please leave a comment. I've been getting some comments in some other social media areas and some questions, so I do want to do one of those videos, kind of be like a short Q&A, but I am very happy to answer any question. So don't be afraid to ask, really anything. Nothing's taboo for the most part, as long as it's, centered on this thing that we're going through and the recovery process and what to expect, either before surgery, after surgery, anything. So I'm more than willing to help. If it's tips on eating, definitely I'm very open to that. In a past life, that was part of my job, was helping people live healthier lives. So I definitely am, I'm not going to say I have some kind of accreditation, but I'm very qualified to give some very helpful tips on eating and staying healthy and maintaining a healthy diet. So, all right, everyone. Thanks, and I'll check in with you guys soon. Have a good one. Bye.